one of the hardest parts for me because like how do you ask your body and mind to be calm
Yeah.
when like externally you're on fire, your skin's falling apart, your hormones out of whack, and then to ask
hmm
someone to like, oh hey, let's regulate your mind and body and nervous system, it's hard.
Yeah.
So it's you got to take it one by one, day by day, and like find one, maybe two things that can help you feel at ease, and then
hmm
make that a habit so that way your body knows, okay, when I do whether it's that sea salt bath, whether it's reading a book, whatever that calm place
Yeah.
is, your body knows, okay, he or she's entering in this state. I can chill out a little bit, even if it's for 5-10 minutes. That goes a long way.
Welcome to the Skin Deep podcast, everyone. I'm so happy that you're here. Again, this is your go to source for everything skin health and self care, especially when it comes to eczema, dermatitis, and other skin conditions. And I am your host, Makisha Banks. I am happy to have our returning champion, Kishok, coming to the podcast. I'm so excited to have you here, Kishok. Our last conversation went really well and it hit home with a lot of people, and there was a good amount of questions and a lot of likes on our social media. But please, for people that don't know you, please introduce yourself and get right into it.
Awesome. First of all, thank you for the warm welcome. I appreciate it. I'm very excited to be back. Our conversation was very insightful for a lot of our audience. And for those who don't know me, my name is Kishok. I am first and foremost an eczema warrior, TSW warrior, and now a certified holistic practitioner who specializes in eczema and TSW.
Oh, I'm so happy that you said the warrior part because
Yeah.
it's so true. Like, it's not a small feat getting over eczema. It's literally like you feel like you won the lottery, a championship when you're at the not even the end road because there's no end road to it, but like when you're overcome that whole entire flare up, the issues, the irritations, and so forth. It is like literally winning a championship.
Yeah, it's a daily battle, let's say.
Yeah, and that's why I wanted to have you back on again today because there's some questions that I feel like we could touch on that would shed some light for some people and going a little bit on a different spin. Before we were talking a lot about supplements, and I think
Mhm.
today it's really talking about something a little bit more deeper because I feel like I've experienced it, especially recently, and I feel like a lot of people don't realize it is part of like the trivia or the puzzle in terms of fixing or healing their skin, which is about the nervous system,
Yep.
reprogramming your nervous system, and other things that could really help people in a crisis or just understand really quickly how, what's going on with their skin.
Yeah, no, definitely. There's a lot of topics to cover. Eczema is not just a skin issue. It's definitely multifactorial. There's multiple, you know, things at play, and yeah, I'm excited to jump into it.
Yeah, no, I like it because one thing for sure when you just said you're an eczema warrior and a TSW warrior, and I feel like it's such a great thing to start off with is what's the difference? Because a lot of people feel like it's the same thing, and TSW and eczema are technically two different ball games that people almost intertwine because they technically do get intertwined, but they still are technically two separate concerns.
Yeah, it's definitely intertwined. It's one is caused by the other, but they're different in their symptoms and why it even started. So
hmm
eczema, we all know is immune system, autoimmune, gut health issue, whereas TSW is solely because we've overused steroid creams essentially because we had no other choice.
Yeah, exactly. And that's the problem is people think that when they're dealing with their healing process, they're just dealing with one, when really they're kind of dealing with the both of them. When I see people that are dealing with, like, they are fully covered with, the flaking, the irritation, the cracking of the skin, and so forth, they solely believe that's the eczema part when really that's the body kind of getting over the use of the steroid creams because they almost have to, like, I feel like it's like a distillation process. They're going through one phase and then they work their way down to the next phase, but they're
Yeah.
really trying to rebuild their skin after they're getting rid of or overcoming the steroid use.
Yeah, it's overcoming the skin as well as like your hormones are out of whack just from
Yeah.
using steroids so often. Your gut health is out of whack, your nervous system. It's honestly a whole total body transformation your body has to go through, unfortunately. But I think if
Mm-hmm.
you do want to come out of it, and it depends on everybody's severity. Some people don't have to go through all of it. Some people have
Yeah.
to all, most of it. But
Yeah.
yeah, those are the main differences. Like eczema again is it's its own condition. It's an own
Mm-hmm.
chronic autoimmune condition, whereas TSW is solely because we've had to use the medications and the long-term side effects.
Yeah, and I think that's where people don't realize that because they're using the steroid for so long, it does more to their body than just affect the skin. You know, it's affecting their hormones, like you're saying, it's affecting their nervous system because, again, it's also based off of their hormones too. And then it's affecting their emotional state as well because then all of a sudden you don't know how to regulate your emotions properly.
Yeah.
So it's a whole, like you said, a whole body transformation. And it's not like one ends off and then you deal with the other. It's almost like a soup kitchen. You're kind of going through all of the things together. But I
Yeah.
know there's a sweet spot where you know you're no longer dealing with the TSW, you're just dealing with the skin repair. Did you see that at a certain point in time when in your own recovery?
Oh yeah, it was like you said, it was a soup kitchen of a mess, and for me, I think for the first year and a half, it was like oozing, complete total redness of my skin, hormone dysregulation. My sleep was off, like my entire
Mm-hmm.
circadian rhythm was off just from
Yeah.
sleep, losing hair. So I had to go through all those things, and
Mm-hmm.
then only after the oozing stopped, my skin kind of had its own skin barrier. Then it
Yeah.
was like, okay, let the redness fade, let the sensitivity fade, and like the wound healing. But that
Mm-hmm.
was, for me at least, was the later stages. The first half, maybe the first 70-80% was all about the intense dry flaking, the intense dry itching, like the
Yeah.
bone deep itch, the oozing. Those were the worst parts.
Yeah, and I guess I'm happy that people when they listen to us they'll understand like there's that's that distinguishing difference is
Yeah,
that you'll see your body kind of transition to a point where you are no longer dealing with the TSW side, you're more so now just dealing with the skin healing side. And
yeah,
that's where it it calls upon a deeper level of commitment and determination and just like you know perseverance because I
yeah,
feel like that's where you really get tested because you're just like, okay, I'm okay, everything's okay, but then you're dealing with a different level of it. And that's where it's like the nervous system really does affect the skin after because I feel like when we dealt with the TSW and we're kind of getting over those kind of symptoms, when we're dealing with the next stage, which is the eczema or the skin healing portion, that's where I feel like, okay, you're really playing with a next level, and that's the nervous system. And I've seen some of your content, and it really goes along and aligns with the content that I make too, of like the nervous system can really trip you up. And
yeah,
this is where people really have to understand like it's not their fault. You know, you're
yeah.
not weak, you're not anything worse than just the day-to-day person, but you do have to like really work on that new nervous system reprogramming.
Yeah, that was, I would say, maybe the one of the hardest parts for me because like how do you ask your body and mind to be calm
Yeah.
when like externally you're on fire, your skin's falling apart, your hormones out of whack, and then to ask
Hmm.
someone to like, oh hey, let's regulate your mind and body and nervous system. It's hard.
Yeah.
So it's you got to take it one by one, day by day, and like find one, maybe two things that can help you feel at ease and then
Hmm.
make that a habit so that way your body knows, okay, when I do, whether it's that sea salt bath, whether it's, reading a book, whatever that calm place
Yeah.
is, your body knows, okay, he or she's entering in this state. I can chill out a little bit. Even if it's for 5-10 minutes, that goes a long way.
Yeah, like I'm not gonna lie, that's what got me recently was what? Like, like it just hits you at a left field. Like everything is great. And then all of a sudden you get like this itch attack out of nowhere and you're like, no, I'm good. I'm okay. And then you're like, what do I do? I know I'm okay, but my skin is telling me that I'm not okay. And I know from, the things that I've read and so forth, it's like you just at that moment, you really have to like stop what you're doing or stop what you're thinking, change, breathe, find something that's going to make you calm down, because in that moment is when you're almost reprogram your nerves. Like that's the crucial point. And that's like, it's like it could sway left or right. You know what I mean? Like I've seen times where I'm like, I'm giving up and I'm like, and then there's times where I was like, I can do this. Everything is amazing. And it's like, it could fluctuate every single day or any point of the day.
Yeah, honestly, you're right. Like, as much as I want to tell myself I've mastered it, I haven't.
Yes.
Just because I'm a practitioner coach, we still have our ups and downs. And when I get into an itch attack, I'll either really scratch myself and then calm down, or I'll like do my let me step out, let me get some fresh air, let me like cool this down. So it's a daily thing, it's a repetitive thing. You have to remind yourself that, hey, like I'm itching, I'm feeling stressed out. What can I do to interrupt this? It's almost like you're interrupting this pattern.
Yeah, I've noticed what I've done for myself, and I hope this helps other people. I've kind of taken note of the time. I've
Oh,
noticed there's points in times of the day it does it, and I notice it's also when I'm approaching a certain activity. So for in the beginning, it was whenever I was getting to do some work for Everbella, because that's kind of what triggered my eczema situation last year in the first place. So right now it's in this beginning stages of reprogram my brain and my body to say work is okay. It is okay to be working, because as an entrepreneur we know it is hectic. So that's
yeah.
why I was like, okay, I was getting triggered by that. And then I realized I was getting triggered at different points in the day. So what kind of helped me realize how to ease my way and kind of reprogram it is to almost anticipate the time and do
Mm.
something different. So then that way it's like I'm already so busy that I can't have a itch attack, or I'm doing something where it won't allow me to have an itch attack. So that's what I kind of did for my way of dealing with my nervous system reprogramming, is almost knowing when and what is triggering it. So then that way I can kind of reprogram it.
That's very interesting. That I think that's actually helpful. For myself, I've noticed in the past, I'd always wake up at 2 o'clock, right?
Yes.
Right? So now I know, okay, something's up. Let me get out of bed. Let me just drink some water. Let me put on a fan just to like prevent that.
Yeah.
Um, so for you, then, what do you do? Like, what are a couple of things you do in anticipation of you about to have a little bit of a
Oh my
eczema?
God. You know what? The 2 a.m. one was one I
Yeah.
still am trying to figure out. And I think you're pretty good for getting out of bed. I'm like this person, like, I can do it. I can do it. No, I'm awake for another 2 more hours trying to figure it out. So
I don't know. I don't know how to do it, but I
I
try.
know. Like, I think I'm gonna have to try to get up and maybe do stretches or do a little bit of yoga poses, because otherwise, it is true. It's that histamine dump, window time. So that's why a lot of people are dealing with it at that 2 a.m. time frame. But it's just so funny that it's like it's 2 a.m. So it's like every eczema person's probably like 2 a.m. and we're all awake at the same time. Maybe we should do like this meditation globally.
That,
'Cause
that'd
that's
be funny.
crazy. Because when you said 2 a.m., I was like, shut the front door. That's me too.
That's all of us. So
Holy.
what do you do right before you're getting stressful, right before an itch attack? What are a couple of things that you do to yeah, anticipate it?
Breathing and mantras. Like right now, it's really slow breathing. So whether it's the box breath breathing or it's just really slow inhale and slow exhale. And
Okay.
I'm singing a lot of mantras. A lot of them are from the Eastern culture. So I'll sing a lot of different things from there. A lot of
Nice.
the other ones are just, repeating, I am safe, I am loved, I am okay. Like those mantras I keep saying and breathing at the same time. I also rub my skin, like I rub myself. So then that
Okay.
way it's like that
Yeah.
touch is also helping to calm my skin down.
Yeah. Oh, that's a lot of self-will to rub versus scratch.
I know. I'm not gonna
That's
lie.
good on you.
And sometimes it transitions, like the
The
hands all of a
scratch?
sudden. Exactly. It's like it turns into rub, and then all of a sudden your hands cramp up, and I'm like, no, 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 no,
I don't believe you, dude. I
I
don't believe
try to
you.
because it's even sometimes the way I stand, I'm like, oh, that makes me want to like stand a certain way and then want to scratch, like like a quick flick. And
Yeah,
it's crazy how your mind tries to trick you, and you have
yeah,
to be aware. Like you literally have to be in that moment and be aware because otherwise, it's so quick you can slide
yeah.
into a scratch and you don't even realize you did.
Yeah. Oh yeah. I know. For me, I keep my hands busy. I'll play a game on my phone. I'll do something, but like if I
Yeah.
don't keep my hands distracted, it'll find its way without me even thinking.
Yeah, like right now I have crystals, okay? So everyone knows I'm very into metaphysics. So I have crystals and they're the palm ones, and I'll just keep rotating them so then that way it
Mm,
will also stop me from scratching because it is
nice.
true and they say it. Empty hands are the devil's playground, and I am not trying to go in that sandbox. So I'm like, do 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 do,
Yeah.
finding
Busy.
something
Nice.
to do.
So yeah, you have your own little tips, hacks, tricks just to help you get out of it, right? So that's good.
Yeah, like I feel like everyone has to have their protocol. Everyone has to have something that they can rely on because I've spoken to so many different people, and a lot of people have their own kind of protocol that helps them get out of that itch attack. Simply relying on just like, oh I'm going to think through it or, breathe through it all the time. It's not always going to work. So you almost have to have like 5 steps because if the first step doesn't work, you go to step
Right.
2. And if that doesn't work, you just keep working down and then eventually you'll realize, okay, I did get over it. Some days it will fail, some days it won't, but I
Yeah.
find that's the way I look at it. I have to have like, multiple different ways of dealing with it that
Yeah.
will allow me to get to the point of I'm not scratching, I'm healing and so forth.
No, I agree because in that moment, there's no time to think when you're in a flare up, when you're itching. So like there's no time to come up with a plan. So it's good to have that emergency protocol written
Hmm.
down somewhere or memorized somewhere so that way when you do enter a flare up, you're like, okay, I'm gonna do A. After I do A, I'll do B and C, and then, hopefully you've calmed down in a day or two.
Yeah. Yeah, and what it's also another thing is music. I don't think a lot of people realize finding great music that gets your spirits high makes a difference because you need something else to play in your mind versus your own voice that you think is your own voice when half the time it's just repeated things from yesterday. So
Yeah.
that's why it's like if you have music and you could just switch it on really quickly, that also will help calm you down. So I find it's like exactly like you said too, it's just there's multiple things you need to try because you don't have enough time to think reasonably or
Yeah.
rationally. It's just like nature take over.
Yeah. No, I actually like that you brought up music because I didn't think about music for a while, but then after I found the lo-fi genre, that honestly, it just calms me down. It
Yep.
just lets my brain think as well because there's no words playing. I'm not trying to process it. Sometimes
Yes.
just know like just instrumental music, and
Hmm.
that finds helps me calm me down as well. So I'm glad you brought up music.
Yeah, I love sound and sound healing. That's something that's
Okay.
part of me, and I've been playing sound bowls for crystal singing bowls for a while. I can't do
Nice.
it all the time in the house because there's other people. They're like, "What the hell is that sound?" And I'm like, "Ooh." I've been walking around with my bowls outside in the summertime because it's so much easier and doing it in nature. But like, not every moment you can just like whip them out. So I
Yeah,
found
yeah.
like different playlists online so that I can
Nice.
listen to that. But it's true, like sounds help to calm the wavelengths in your brain. They calm you down. So music is definitely something I would tell people to start looking and using because it's another way that you can like sound wise change it, physically change it, emotionally kind of change, like all of those different kind of ways. It's like you're like taming an animal, for goodness sakes.
Honestly. You have to attack it on multiple fronts, this eczema.
Yeah, it's so crazy. And that's what I mean. Like we win a championship for this, okay? Like this is like
Honestly,
a whole different level of games.
honestly, honestly. Let me ask you this. So, what is your emergency protocol if you go into a flare up?
My first one is to calm down, and that is to breathe, because I notice when I have the itch attack, my heartbeat goes high.
Hmm.
And it's just because I'm feeling scared and I'm feeling anxious, and that's the reason why I'm scratching. So the first thing I try to really do is like take a deep, deep breath, because
Yeah.
I know when I'm in that itch attack, I'm not breathing properly. I am thinking about like I need to scratch the shit out of this. I don't care what happens. And then till after I'm starting and I see that I cut myself, I feel guilty. So
Yeah.
my first thing is to really take a nice deep, deep breath. And then it is the music, or I'm breathing and I'm singing mantras. And then I just try to get up, and usually depending on the time of the day or wherever I am, I want to take a quick shower, because I
Okay.
feel like showering resets me. Some
Okay.
people may not agree with it because, again, depending on their stage, if the showering
Yeah.
is safe for them or not. But I like to take a quick shower. If it's a certain day, I'll take a bath.
Okay.
Right now, what I've noticed, because I've come back from my trip and I still want to feel like I'm in the ocean, even though it's not a full shower, I will still plug the bottom of the bathtub and put dead sea salts in there and still
Nice.
take a shower.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
it feels so good. Like, it feels salty. I like the grains at the bottom of the
Yeah. Yeah.
bathtub. So that's what I've been kind of doing recently to kind of help me calm down or get over a bit of a flare up. Is I like the feeling of water, because it feels like it cleanses me and
Mm.
it just resets me. And then I do my the products application, because it just feels like I'm self-caring myself. And then I like to have a big cup of water, and it's with electrolytes or a supplement. I just feel like I'm taking care of myself externally and internally. So I really reach for water, because I feel like that just makes me feel clear.
Nice. Yeah. Honestly, I do some similar stuff. For me, it's like, let me turn on the fan or go outside and get some fresh air. Just
Yeah.
like something else touching my skin helps me calm down. And then the second thing is like, let me drink some cold water. Like that seems to break some pattern interrupt. And especially when I'm in a flare up, I feel hot. So I
Yeah.
like to kind of give my body something cold to like cool down.
Yeah, and you know when you're saying to get outside and get fresh air, that is actually true. I've have it on my calendar right now. I think I am day 25 of going
Right?
outside and getting a quick 15-minute walk every single day. And I
Nice.
usually do it at around 9, because I feel like there's less people on the road and
Yeah,
it's
yeah, everybody's at
cool.
work.
Yeah, and it's cool, and I see the stars, and it really just helps me kind of get ready for my bedtime. But that's what I've been doing as well. Is every day I've been going for a walk, because I feel different when I'm in my house versus when I'm outside of my house. I
Yeah.
don't have the flare-ups when I'm outside. I have them when I'm inside, and I that tells me there's too much thinking going on. There's too much stuff happening. Maybe too much energy around. I feel that when I'm in my house.
Nice. Yeah, honestly, yeah, those quick 5, 10, 15 minute walks makes a huge difference.
Yeah, no, I like it. So do you do the Dead Sea Salt baths weekly, or is it like a monthly or?
No, it's weekly. I haven't done it lately, but it's usually weekly just to kind of like help me reset, ground myself, get my skin those minerals, a little bit of a me time. But
Yeah.
especially when I'm flaring up, I'll do it one, two, three times a week.
Okay. No, that's really good. I've been trying to get back to it weekly, but I feel like the bottom bathtub is
Yeah.
kind of
Like,
like introducing me back or sliding me back into it, but it's something I usually love to do. And even hot yoga, I've been doing that every week. Like that's
okay.
my saving grace. If I don't do hot yoga, I feel like you feel it the next time you do it, because you sweat 10 times more. So
Ooh,
it's like if you don't do it consistently, you feel it after. And I
feel it
think
after,
that's been helping in terms of just like discharging and kind of getting the toxins out of my
yeah.
skin. So
Yeah. You don't find that you're flaring up or itchy during hot yoga with all the sweating?
no, yes and no. So I've
Okay.
been using it as also like a mental trainer, because yes, I find I sweat and it itches me if I don't do yoga regularly. And it's
Oh,
because there's just an accumulation of those toxins in
mm,
my skin, so that when I
yeah,
do it, I
yeah,
feel it a lot more. So that's where it kind of reminds me, do not skip your weekly yoga or
nice.
twice a
Okay.
week. um, Another thing is it helps me to control the urges of scratching.
Mhm.
So when I'm outside of that and I'm at home and I'm feeling that urge to scratch, I almost picture myself like I'm doing yoga, and I
Right.
resist the urge of scratching, because that's what the yoga is kind of training me to do. So that's why I really recommend yoga to people, because it does help you overcome that discomfort when your body is yelling at you.
Oh yeah. Yeah, I've done a couple of just regular yoga sessions, and in that moment I'm trying to hold the poses, I'm trying to do this, and like if my mind wanders even for a millisecond, I'm gonna
Yes.
fall. So it really
Yeah.
trains your brain to like stay in the moment, focus, and just be present. And it
Yeah.
does translate to itching because like when you are itching, if you can try to focus on something else, obviously
Yes.
not scratching, I think you can control it to an extent and then not scratch.
I do agree. Like, it was hard in the beginning when I started getting back into it. I was like, I can't do this. Now it's so much more easier, and there's days where I don't even feel like an itch after the yoga or during it. I'm like, oh, this is amazing. So I'm trying to learn how to transition that to when I'm not in the yoga studio and I'm at home.
Yeah.
So it kind of has that same effect. So
Nice.
but I have some questions now for the fall season, because I know we're approaching fall, and it's like it's taking its time and it's coming back and it's taking its time. In some ways, I'm not rushing it. I'm like, my skin likes the warmer weather, whereas I like the cold. I'm like, no, dang it, no.
You get
But
dry.
I know I don't want to be dry and ashy and craggy. I don't want to have that, but it's kind of like inevitable. So my question is, what are things that you suggest your clients to do to prepare for the season? Because again, we're transitioning. Like, do you have certain tips and tricks that you tell people to help them transition?
Yeah, so if you are in Canada or anywhere there's winter's coming and sunlight's going to be less, first and foremost, vitamin D,
Yeah.
because your mood is going to get lower without realizing. It does help your skin and your immune system. So automatically, I'm like fall, winter, let's start getting on vitamin D.
Mm-hmm.
Another thing with fall season, it's flu season, right? People are getting
Yeah.
sick more often, and I also remind my clients take vitamin C and
Mm-hmm.
zinc because they are going to help your immune system. They are going to help your skin repair itself on top of helping you fight off these flus because that's the last thing we want. During a flare up, you don't also want to be dealing with the flu. So let's stay on
Mm-hmm.
top of these vitamins that will help at least prevent or decrease the severity of flu while also helping your skin heal, bring down the redness, and with itching as well. So
Oh,
that's what I
those are
think.
great tips.
Yeah, so that's what I do supplement wise. For winter, I would say run a humidifier, especially if you have heat running on throughout the day in your house to warm
Mm-hmm.
the place. The air is going to be a lot drier, so we want the air to be somewhat moist so our skin can absorb the water in the air and keep the skin moist as well. So those are the I know it sounds basic, it's pretty common to do these things, but we tend to overlook the simple things and try to
Yeah.
look for fancy protocols and fancy machines. But honestly, and sometimes these things don't look like it's working, but in
Mm-hmm.
hindsight, it is because you're staying on top of it. It does compound and it does help you go further without a flare up in the frequency.
Yeah, I love what you were saying, especially with the vitamin D. It's like we almost don't even remember that, the time gets more constrained in terms of the daylight, and we're mainly in the dark for most of the day, right? And it's for a good few months. And a
Yeah.
lot of people don't take that in, is that, we need the vitamin D, especially when you're talking about the mood. Holy crow, it does make a difference on that. And the vitamin C, if I didn't really increase my vitamin C intake when I first started having my flare ups, I don't think I would
Yeah.
have recovered as smoothly and as quickly as I did. I was
Yeah.
increasing it like, I don't know, I think it was like by 2 or 3 doses. And
Yeah.
it really did help me repair my skin a lot faster, because I felt like that is like the anti-inflammatory, right? So I felt like that really, really did help me internally, because when
Mhm.
I had that flare up, it was right in the peak of the fall winter season.
Yeah. And good point on taking more because the standard vitamin C supplement dose is like for maintenance,
Yeah.
right? For
Yeah.
like healthy individuals. So if you are going through a flare up with
Mm-hmm.
eczema, you do need a higher dose, which your practitioner should be able to tell you, or your eczema coach can tell you what dose you need. But you do need more than the average person because your body needs more vitamin C to heal. It needs it for, allergic reactions like your
Mm-hmm.
antihistamine. And then if it's fall and winter, you might be having a flu or a cold, so you need more vitamin C.
Yeah, I didn't really notice it until when I was reading like the daily dosage, and I asked my doctor, and then he was just like, "Yeah, just you just need one," and I'm like, "Really?"
No.
And then when I looked at everything and I read it over, I'm like, we're gonna take about four."
Oh
And
man.
I'm not gonna lie, if I felt the difference, and I
Yeah.
knew it was right on point, because I even read if you took too much, this is what will happen. You usually get diarrhea, and when I took too much, I did get diarrhea, and I was like, okay, so we'll just take one supplement less.
Yeah. Knock it down a little bit. Yeah.
Yeah, and I was like, because you're really doing it there, okay? Stop doing this nonsense. So I ended up just taking just the right amount, but I seen the difference. I
Mhm.
seen how much my body was healing better, and it wasn't like a prolonged, redness, and like it started to soothe much quicker.
Yeah.
And I agree with this. So I'm so happy that you're telling people about that. I think the one that I underestimate that I'm happy that you mentioned as well too is the humidifier. I
Okay.
remembered to I have a humidifier for my daughter when she was a newborn.
Yeah.
But it's like, once the babies are grown, we're like, forget everything.
Yeah. I
You
don't need
throw
it.
everything away. When really that's something I should have kept. That would definitely help.
Yeah. Yeah. I have that running, my fan running. There's always some machine running to help me stay comfortable. There's always a
It's
little bit of
so true.
white noise going on somewhere.
It's so true, especially the fan. Like
Yeah.
the fan I had did not turn off the whole summer. I was loving
Yeah.
it, but
I had
now
it.
for the winter, it's true. I'm like, yeah, like it's dry, kind of cold, so it would make sense to have that humidifier. But you need the moisture, and
Yeah.
that's something that people don't realize. That whether you're in an apartment or a house, but if you're in an apartment, you definitely want to make sure you have it because it's a lot more drier in apartments. But
Yeah.
you need moisture. You do
Yeah.
need it.
Yeah. And the part with for us eczema and TSW wards is our skin barrier is either damaged or compromised and it doesn't hold on to moisture as well as other people. So you always need some sort of moisture in the air so like your skin can stay hydrated just because it can't hold on to it until it's healed, fully healed.
Yeah, let's get deeper on that topic too, because I love that you brought that up. Because when a lot of people are noticing, their skin is repairing, it's still very dry, and that sebaceous gland, like the oil glands, are still not
Mhm.
activated at that time. It's only the pseudophorus glands, which is the sweat glands, that are actually active. So they'll sweat any moment, but they're
Yeah.
not producing oil. It's not, the body doesn't feel safe yet to produce oil. And that's where I have my own ritual where I use the butters or the oils from Everbella, and
Yeah.
I make an actual oil barrier on my skin, because it may feel like I'm taking an extra half hour in the washroom just to butter myself up, but
But
it does make a difference. It makes a massive difference, especially in the winter season.
yeah, definitely gonna lock in the moisture that your skin already has. And for me, yeah, I use jojoba oil, castor oil, and I think you use those in your products as well, which is why
Yes.
it's great. So I always use those two to just lock in moisture. And the one thing about jojoba oil is it is very similar to the oil that our body
Exactly.
produces.
Yeah.
So it's good for your skin to like, oh, recognize there's some type of oil, and keep you moisturized and hydrated.
Yeah, and I was doing my application of my skin products like 2 to 3 times a day. Like I
Yeah,
brought a little jar of that with me when I was in my, like when you're at work, because your
yeah,
body naturally just kind of dries up after some
yeah,
hours. So you gotta apply it on the
yeah.
skin. It's not a one and done at that
Uh,
stage when your skin is kind of going into, okay, let me now start repairing on a deeper level. Your skin, that outer barrier is still kind of compromised, so you have to apply it at least 2 to 3 times a day just to keep it protected, especially in the cold winter season.
Oh yeah, I know. Anytime I go to work, I'm going out, there's always some sort of moisturizer bomb in my bag or pocket. And every 2 3 hours I'll check, like, is my skin dry? Just a quick check in the washroom and then reapply and then, I'm out the door again.
Yeah. Oh my gosh. What you just said when you were checking, I was talking to another eczema coach, and she was like, in her time of like healing, she goes, I never realized how many times I checked my skin in a day,
Honestly,
let alone like in a minute. Like, you're like,
yeah,
is it better? Is it better? Is it better?
honestly. Is it better? Is it red? Is it flaky? Do I need to
Yeah.
like top up? Honestly.
I never really took it in. I'm like, yeah, I do check my skin, but I thought it was just a me thing. But no, everyone is literally checking their skin on every like moment to moment basis. Like, you're rubbing
Yeah.
yourself a little bit. You're like, okay, is that okay? How does my skin feel? Did it feel broken? Like, you're just constantly checking. Like, you think like you have an OCD issue.
But it's not though. It is and it's not. But it's also like probably you just want to, and you're probably doing this in public too, like in a
Yeah.
social setting. You're at work, maybe you're at
Yes.
school, and like your brain loses train of thought and it, focus on the eczema because it is you
Yeah.
do feel it, so it's hard not to think about it.
Yes.
And I think we got to give ourselves a shout out for the fact that we can think about our skin 100 times a day without even thinking about it, and you know talk to
Have a
people.
conversation.
Exactly. Like the level of mental effort we need just to manage eczema and be a part of society is a lot.
It's so true. You did a nice spin on that, because normally people would be like, "You need to stop." You're like, "No, power to you for your dual actions." Okay, which
It's
is so.
hard.
It is hard because there's times where I'm sitting there talking to someone. I'm like, "Okay, my elbow's feeling a little bit weird, but okay, continue
Yeah.
talking. I understand." Yeah, yeah, that's a great conversation. Okay, hold on. Why is my elbow feeling like that still? Okay, yeah, that's
Honestly.
amazing. I am so happy for you. I need to make sure I get that lotion when I put that on. Like, it's so true.
Like, do I scratch this right now? When is this conversation gonna end? So I can scratch. Yeah, like we have two brains running at the same time.
It's true. I had another girl, and shout out to her. Her name was Chi, and she said the same thing. She was like, "There's times where I'm in a conversation with someone, and it's just like, okay, we done? Because I'm having an itch attack right now, and I gotta go." And
Yeah.
it's so true.
Oh, that's funny. It
Oh
makes
my
us
god.
impatient.
Yeah, like, that needs to be a meme. Someone needs to film that, where it's just like you're talking, you're like, "Yep,
Yeah,
yep,
yeah.
yep. I need a scratch go. Are you done talking to me? Okay, we're done. All right, perfect."
That's so
Ah.
funny.
Oh my gosh, that's so hilarious because it's so common and it's so true.
Yeah.
So
No,
now, when it comes to like the gut imbalance, do you find there's anything that is kind of common with people with a gut imbalance, or at least in the fall season, like foods we should stay away from, or things that are common that you've seen in terms of like gut imbalances?
I think it's just sugar. Like I know we're heading into, at least in North America, like Halloween, Thanksgiving, Christmas. So there's more, unfortunately, processed stuff, sugary drinks, and theme related stuff. And I would say this: it's okay to have those things when you're out with your friends and family. But I think when you're at home, on the day-to-day routine, let's say Sunday to Thursday, if you stick to your, plan, I think there's a space for you to enjoy it still. Because like some people will get more stressed by not having it. They'll feel more left out,
Yes,
which
yeah.
then, makes you anxious. Your nervous system feels a little bit off, and then you're gonna get a flare up. And I've noticed that in the past, even now, if I'm eating a food that I shouldn't be having, but I'm having it in a more accepting mindset that I'm gonna enjoy this, tomorrow I'm going back to normal, I don't flare up as often because I'm not eating it in a stressful state. Oh, I shouldn't be having this. This is bad for
Yeah.
me. I'm gonna flare up. You're just adding more fuel to the fire. So if you can eat mindfully in the holiday season, like, hey, I'm gonna enjoy this meal, and then once this holiday season is over, I'm going back to my regular clean, you know minimal processed stuff. I find that people actually will flare up a little bit less. You'll still get a flare up,
Yeah,
but
yeah.
the severity and the itching intensity will probably be a little bit different if you were to eat it in that state.
Yeah, like that's brilliant what you're saying, because it's so true. Like, this is the craziest season coming up, where so many gatherings, so much food, so many activities, so many things that are happening. And it's stressful. People are like, I don't want to. Like, I've been doing so good this whole year, and now
Yeah.
this season's coming up. I don't want to make a mistake. And that fear of
Hmm.
like making a mistake or I'm going to have a problem is what's causing the problem. And I
Yeah.
think that's where people need to give themselves some grace and say, no, I'm going to enjoy it, but I'm going to make sure one, it's the last thing I eat, not the first thing that I
Yes.
eat. The first thing
Yeah.
that I eat is going to be my vegetables, my broth, my chicken, my whole foods, my all of those great things. And then it's like when you have that, it's not even like an actual factor because your belly's already filled with all the good stuff.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah.
yeah.
Exactly. And then um I was gonna say, I think I lost my train of thought, but it's also like there's two ways you can look at this. You can either be comfortable enough that you don't need the sugary stuff and
Mm-hmm.
be happy and comfortable in yourself and go to these
Yes.
gatherings, eat clean and be happy. Or if you want to feel included, you don't feel left out, then have those things, but in a more positive, open mindset. Like you said, I'm gonna eat this. I'm gonna have all the healthy stuff, fill myself with salad and chicken and whatnot,
Mm-hmm.
and then let me go have this cake and not even think twice about it because you're getting the nutrients you need. You're already full and you're not stuffing yourself on a bunch of random stuff.
Yeah, because the funny part, when I was on my trip, it was a cruise, so food everywhere, okay?
Yeah,
Like
yeah,
you can stuff food in your ears. That's how much food that they had. And I made sure every single meal I had the good stuff. And the funniest part is I didn't even care for the sweets. And they had every freaking cake you can think of. Cakes and cookies and cupcakes. And I was just like, holy crow, like, do I really want it? But I was like, I'll come back to it and I'll make sure I ate all of the good foods
yeah.
first. And it was always vegetables. Like, I don't know why I was so attracted to the vegetables. And then when I actually did have the cake, I didn't have a flare up. There wasn't a single flare up. And I think it's because I took away that stress and I did, like you said, have all of those good nutrients and macronutrients that it was my cells were already filled with that. So then by the time I even had the cake, mind you, I had a small
Whatever.
piece and I felt satisfied. I was like, that was
Yeah,
good. Tastes like
yeah,
crap,
yeah,
but I can do
yeah.
with another one.
You got you got your sugar hit, you got your craving and little sweet treat, and you kind of move on.
Yeah. It wasn't like so pressured to do it. Now when you come back to Canada though, that's a whole different story.
It's hard. Yeah,
I
yeah.
felt like I'm like, okay, I need to retrain myself because it's so weird that like there it was in front of my face and I didn't care. Here it's not necessarily in front of my face and I'm kind of like, remember to eat this way first. So it's like kind of trying to adopt that same style again. It's just so funny
Yeah.
how it is different when you're on a trip or in a different country versus when you're at home.
It's also stress eating, right? Because like we're working, we're doing, we're busy
Yeah,
throughout the day, errands to run, and your brain wants that little dopamine hit. So it's like, let me have that chips, let me have that sugar. But
so
when you're on a
true.
trip, when you're on a cruise or all inclusive or wherever, like there's nothing to be stressed about. So you're like, you don't have those cravings, right? To
Yeah.
replace that feeling with.
Oh, you're so brilliant. I'm so happy you said that because I didn't think of it that way. I didn't think about it being stress eating. I was just like, oh my God, don't eat it. As opposed to being like, I don't really need it. I have this other option. And you're, again, like you said, like you're calm. You're not really stressed about what you're eating. So it's so freaking true. Holy crow. That's messed up.
Yeah.
So for the nervous system for yourself, like what did you really focus on in terms of reprogramming your brain, or did you feel like you had to do a lot of reprogramming?
Oh yeah, I had to do a lot because especially like a lot of my journey started after TSW and TSW was just like a whole nother thing and that's where your mind can really play against you of like how you look at yourself, how you feel in your body, why am I going through this, right? Like it's very negative for a reason, like it's trying to
Yeah.
protect you. So coming out of that, I had to kind of reprogram myself and talk to myself in a different way. It's like, hey, you're healing, you're doing all this work, it will pay off, even though you don't see it. I
Yeah.
had to tell myself, do I feel different? I had to ask myself, am I feeling better? Am I getting even 1 hour of sleep more? Am
Yeah.
I itching less? I had to really train my brain to look for
The wins.
improvement, right?
Yeah.
And I was at a place where I didn't even take progress pictures of myself because I didn't want to look at myself in
Yeah.
that moment. It was very hard. So I had to really rely on me tracking or even mentally, like, hey, I'm getting a little bit more sleep. My skin looks less intense. So that's one way I had to reprogram myself. And the other way was how do I start to feel more calmer in my body? Because I never done that for 25 years. Growing up,
Yeah.
like that was not a thing. So then coming on this journey, I'm like, okay, what are the things that I truly feel comfortable, calm in? So I
Mm-hmm.
started going on walks, just sitting at the park, finding little trails and streams, a river, hearing water,
Mm-hmm.
and then transitioning back into like, okay, how do I feel safe in my own room and house? It's like, okay, let me read. Even Netflix. I know there's a bad rap of like binge
Yeah.
watching,
Yeah.
but like, if that actually brings you calm and joy and
Mm.
happiness, by all means go binge your show. Like you're not bothering anybody, right? So
Yeah.
it's really talking to yourself first and foremost of like, hey, what will make me happy? What makes me calm?
Mm-hmm.
And then the last piece is, I know I'm going on a rant.
No,
It's
please.
how do you talk to yourself in a flare up, right? Because I know I used to
Mm-hmm.
be mad at my skin, like, oh, why are you red?
Yeah.
Why are you flaky? I didn't do anything, like, right? But then
Yeah. Yeah.
and now it's like, okay, it's red. Like this is temporary. It's fine. No
Mm-hmm.
one's gonna notice, and people don't really notice, right? So it's like, how do you talk to yourself in a different light to like calm your anxiety, calm your nervous system, and
Mm-hmm.
tell your brain to talk to you differently, essentially.
Yeah, oh my gosh. All of those things were amazing. Like it's brilliant, brilliant. And I'm happy that you went through that. It sucks that you didn't take pictures because it's the same thing for me. Like if I didn't take pictures in the first round, I'm taking pictures now because I'm like I
Yeah,
just
yeah,
need to just watch what's happening. And
yeah,
now looking at it and you see how your skin transitions from month to month, week to week,
yeah,
I'm like astonished. Like I'm
yeah,
shocked with what my body has done. And I give it an award and I'm proud of it because it's just like there were
yeah,
times where I'm like, this is never going to get better. And then when I look at my skin now compared to what it was going through in the early parts of this year, I'm like, at that time, I thought that was a success.
yeah,
I was like,
yeah,
yes, oh my God, that's amazing. My skin is not broken and red. It looked like a checkered board because it was dark patches and light patches, but
yeah,
it's like 10 times better now compared to what it was before. So I agree. Like, that progress, like having those images is a way of showing the brain, look, we're doing great. We're doing amazing. Like, the nervous system can calm down because there's progress. Look how amazing it is, and taking those other moments of just getting outside. I think a lot of us get stuck in just staying where we are. We don't want to move,
yeah,
and that's important for people to get out of that environment because
yeah,
that environment is what's causing you to have that flare up, whatever chaos happening. And getting outside, whether it's raining,
yeah,
snowing, shining, it doesn't matter. It's still better than the environment that you're currently in. And
yeah,
that I took really to heart last year. And that's what kind of made me want to always start hiking again because I was like, just get outside, just get outside. And when I went to
yeah,
this park and it was beautiful because it was the trees were all changing colors, I'm like,
yeah,
why am I not doing this again?
yeah.
Why
Why
did
would I do it more often?
I know, like, why was COVID the only reason why we were doing this? Like, why
Wait,
can't we keep doing this again? So that was another thing that made me help me get out of my own thing. And I love the last point that you were saying is being comfortable first in your body and then being comfortable in your room and then being comfortable in the space. Like that is so, that's monumental. I don't think a lot of people take it that way because I do agree. There's times where I just don't feel comfortable in my room, so I'll sleep in the living room.
yeah,
And then I'm like, I don't feel comfortable over there, so I'll sleep on the other couch. And then I'm like, oh, let's watch some Netflix. I feel really good about that. And binge watch rom-com and like, Christmas movies, and it's not even Christmas yet. you know?
you're preparing. It's okay.
Yeah, but everything you said is amazing, and it's crucial that people realize that's bits and pieces of how we've coped with what we're doing to feel better, and they shouldn't feel like it's not okay to do it just to get up and get out.
Yeah, yeah, and I think the hardest part is probably feeling comfortable in your own body, because that's like we're not trained to do it, we're not taught to do it unless you're going to therapy, unless you're reading, and
Mm-hmm.
it is a whole nother skill set to do, and which is why I tell my clients, I'm like, hey, before we even get there, like let's how do we make you feel comfortable in your body and see progress, which is
Mm-hmm.
through nutrition, which is like actually seeing progress. Like if you're trying
Yeah.
to work on feeling comfortable in your body during a flare up, it's a lot harder, right? Because you're in
Mm-hmm.
pain, you see physical stuff that you don't want to see, like redness and
Yeah.
itching. So it's like, hey, let's focus on that a little bit later. Let's
Mm-hmm.
like get your nutrition up. Let's get you some wins that you can retrain your brain on and say, hey, I am seeing progress. My
Mm-hmm.
skin is looking better. And then, you can progress to like, hey, how do I feel safer in my body now that I'm not flaring up? Because that happened to me as well. There was a point where my skin looked pretty good, but I was still having like negative thoughts. I was still having
Yeah.
old thoughts and habits of like, oh, why is my skin flaring up? Or why
Yeah.
am I itching? But I'm like, hey, I've come a long way. I've like 90% healed, but my
Mm-hmm.
brain was still wired in that old mindset. So then I
Yes.
was like, okay, my skin is not bad. I have no reason to complain. So I had to catch myself in those moments.
Mm-hmm.
But I feel like it's easier when you start working on yourself through nutrition, supplements, lifestyle stuff, because you can tell your brain there's proof, there's social proof for your brain. You are doing things to make yourself feel better, and then
Mm-hmm.
it'll be easier on you.
Yeah, I call it skin PTSD. I
Yes,
literally
that's a
call
good
it
word.
that because
That's
it
good.
is
Yeah,
post-traumatic disorder. Like that's what's happening. And I didn't take it in. I'm like, something's going on. Like I feel great. My skin is getting better, but my brain is telling me things that I just don't agree with. And that's
yeah,
when I was like, I think this is PTSD,
yeah.
but it's skin PTSD. It's actually really crazy because you will almost trick yourself into thinking you're not actually getting better, and then you don't get
Yes.
better and you relapse because somewhere in your brain that's just repeating the same thought over and over again is telling you something that's no longer true, but because we said it for so many times, it's
Yeah.
just a broken record. And this is where, like I said, and we've been saying it, this is where the extra work comes into
Yeah.
play. The beginning stages when we're just trying to get rid of the inflammation and get rid of those triggers and clean up the diet and clean up, our skin and having that skincare routine in place. That's just the beginning stages of getting us, kind of free and clear from like the constant flare ups or the constant inflammation. But then now when the skin is really repairing itself, it is true. This is where we're going through that extra work, and it's going to plan you mentally, psychologically, and finding those wins is going to be the most important thing so that you can tell your brain, actually, there's proof that we're getting better. There's proof we're getting better. And
Yeah.
I do like that you're saying the easy wins are, the nutrition and the diet and so forth. And I guess the harder wins is just again for me it's the pictures. Like I never realized how much my skin was healing until I looked at the pictures and I'm making a collage and I'm like, shut the front door.
Yeah.
Like that's what I went through. I felt like I can't even fathom the things that I went through before. And now when I look at it, I'm like, girl, you're sexy.
You've come a long way, right? Like those
Yeah.
pictures help reinforce, like, yo, I've been through a lot, I've come a long way. And
Mm-hmm.
like this flare up is actually nothing in comparison to
Yeah.
what you've dealt with like 5 years
Yeah.
ago. And then you just brush it off. This will be done in 2, 3 days and just move on. You go on with your life and work and.
Yeah. And I
Yeah.
think a lot of people just have to remember flare-ups is a good sign. It's a sign that something doesn't, your body doesn't agree with it. And instead of
Yeah.
fighting it, it's more like saying, okay, tell me what you didn't like and invite that information versus saying, no, I don't like that I have a flare-up. That's bad. It's like, no, what does that flare-up mean? It just means that you did something that your body doesn't like. So let's not do
Yeah.
what your body doesn't like.
Yeah, no, that it's well said because especially with going back to the pictures, this is why I tell all my clients, I'm like, hey, take progress pictures. I'm like, I don't need it. I don't need to see it. We can review it together because we're still somewhat, to use the word, ashamed of our skin,
Mm-hmm.
unfortunately, like in
Yeah.
those moments. So I'm like, take a picture. You don't need to put your face in it, even for yourself, because if you're worried that someone might see it, whatever. But I'm
Yeah.
like, take a picture so we can go back and look and like, hey, you've come a long way just in these 1, 2, 3 months working with me or
Yes.
even just following the plan. Um, so tell them take pictures and that way you can reinforce your brain like, hey, you've come a long way.
Yeah, I didn't realize how much weight those pictures carried for me. In the beginning, it was true. I didn't want to take pictures. I felt very ashamed and very
Yeah.
unlovable and everything. But now when I look at the pictures, I'm like, I'm a gosh darn champion. Like, what the
Yeah.
heck? You tell
Yeah.
me
Where's
what
my
you went
medal?
through. Like, no
Where's my
offense to
first place
anyone's
medal?
overcomings, but like, if you seen this, do you think you could have made it through? And it's like, you wouldn't wish this on anybody, but it's like it
Yeah.
really tests your perseverance and your determination. So I completely agree. Pictures have a really good way of reminding us of like how far we've come and how good we can continue going, but like
Yeah.
how good we are doing already as it is. So,
Yeah. And I'll ask you this, like after going through TSW and even worse eczema flare-ups, after coming out of it being in a more calmer spot, I have a chip on my shoulder. I'm like everything outside of eczema doesn't phase me as much anymore. Like
yeah.
sure it'll stress me out, life and whatnot and work, but I'm like whatever, like this doesn't bother me because I've come through so much. I've seen my own pictures, I've seen how
Yeah.
far I've come. I'm like, oh, this doesn't phase me anymore. Do you feel that way
I
too?
do. Like I nowadays I'm just like nothing bothers me. When people are
Yeah.
complaining about things, I'm like, "Yeah? Oh, okay. All right. Did you get an itch attack today?"
Oh
Like
man.
it's not to put anyone else down, but it's
Yeah,
just like
I
you
know.
realize like your strength is so amazing. Your body is so intelligent that little things or big things, they don't bother you as much because
Yeah.
you're just happy that you have your health. You're just happy that
Yeah.
you have a body that you can still experience the world with, and you're not, unfortunately confined to a chair or your bed or whatever. So
Yeah.
it just makes you appreciate life a lot more. And I think that's the problem, is that people don't appreciate life until they go through things like this, and then they're like, okay, yeah,
Wait,
no,
no.
life is amazing actually, whatever, I'm gonna slowly wake up tomorrow morning and, have a
Yeah.
nice cappuccino versus like getting up and like snapping and running out the door.
Yeah. No, I agree. I agree.
So before we wrap it up, I know there's a couple other things that I wanted to ask you. And
Yeah.
my main one I wanted to ask you was, is there a time where you did see in someone's journey an amazing transformation? And, what was it that changed it for them in terms of their transformation?
You know what? For me, it's actually the coaching aspect with my clients.
Mm.
A lot of people come, and myself included back then, like we're anxious, we're a little bit like hesitant, is this going to work for me? But I find that once I give them a plan that's for them and I coach them on a weekly, bi-weekly basis, after a month, like I hear the confidence in themselves coming. I'm like, oh yeah, like I had a flare up, but it was fine. I'm sleeping a lot better. I've got more
Mm-hmm.
energy. My skin's a lot less red. Like I hear the confidence in them when the plan starts working because they're putting in the work. It's not even me. I'm like, here's a plan. We'll check
Yeah.
in, but they're putting in the work. And when they put in the work, they feel more confident in themselves. Like, hey, I'm following something for myself. I'm investing in myself, the time and energy, and I'm just there to like push them along, like cheer them on. And I see that little bit of a happy voice, conviction in themselves every time I meet after they see progress. So for me, that's what I always appreciate and like to see on their journey, and that's why I do the things I do because I want to see that when they turn that corner because like I was there too when I was like trying to turn that corner and
Mm-hmm.
you really start to move different, think different when you start feeling better about yourself, when you see that eczema can be managed and controlled,
Mm-hmm.
like man, the whole personality comes out, like their true personality comes
Yeah.
out when they start feeling better.
Yeah, it's like it's you unravel this part of them that was kind of like wrapped up in a bubble and just was put
Yeah,
away in the back of their brain. And
yeah,
eventually when they start to see those wins, or they see a bit of like a breakthrough, that's when they start to unravel and they become themselves again. And I think that's the sad part about eczema. It takes away that person's
yeah,
personality, their core being, and so forth. And then eventually it starts to come out. So I'm happy you get to witness that, because
yeah,
that's where it humbles you, but it makes you just feel like I'm so happy to do what I'm doing, because that it really helps someone at a core, like you really are helping people transition and change their life for the long term as well too. So that's
yeah,
amazing. I love that.
yeah.
Yeah. Well, do you have any other questions from myself?
I don't. I just like that we just had a free flowing conversation. I don't have anything specific that's coming to mind. No, maybe I guess for skin wise, like when you do flare up, like what are some ingredients or products that you use that will help calm your flare up down, so that our audience can quickly run to those products, those ingredients, those single base creams, whatever it is, so that they can feel good in their skin.
Yeah, like our Eversoothe collection is was fully designed for eczema, flare-ups, or itchiness and so forth because one ingredient that a lot of people, really misunderstand is witch hazel is a really good anti-septic,
Yes.
anti-inflammatory ingredient and it's so overlooked in the industry and
Yeah.
you can get that in a spray format and that is good for even bug bites as well and
Yeah.
like, those little flare-ups. So just even spraying that on your skin, it really does help. Patchouli is another ingredient that's within that
Yeah.
soothing line that, again, antiseptic, anti-inflammatory. It is all about just calming down that inflammation. Tea tree oil, chia
Yeah.
seed, like every ingredient in that collection is all about soothing the skin. So that's why I always tell people when they're done using the Eversoothe collection, meaning their skin is calmed down, it's
Yeah.
good to then transition into the Ever Hydrate because a lot of those ingredients in there are all about hydrating
I,
the skin and keeping that moisture barrier protected. So it's really important that people, if they're afraid of ingredients or afraid of different
mhm.
products, just go for the simple individual ingredient
Yeah.
like yourself, which you're saying jojoba or castor. It's
Yeah.
always good to just go with the basic before you go to a product that has a lot more ingredients because
Yeah.
maybe certain ingredients you don't like or your skin doesn't appreciate. So it's always good to just get a single ingredient, use that until when your skin starts to be more tolerable and
Hmm.
less reactive to other products. But it's really important to get butters or oils that will create that barrier over the skin because the skin is very vulnerable and it's super important that you have a bit of a barrier over top of the skin until when it starts to start flaking, and that's because there's new skin coming up to the surface.
Yeah.
And that's I'm happy you brought that up because a lot of people think the dryness is a bad thing. The dryness is because there's new skin being created coming to the surface, and then that dry skin is starting to flake off. So the flaking of your skin is really good. I'm actually excited when I see flaking. I'm like, yes, bring up that new skin. Like, I
That's
am
cute.
excited when I see it. So
Yeah.
it's like it's an invitation for people to realize flaking is good. It's a good thing. Allow it to flake. Don't be afraid of
Mhm.
exfoliating. Maybe not go with a physical exfoliator and go
Yeah.
with a
The
sponge.
gentle one. Yeah.
Yeah, we have a konjac sponge for people that are not ready to use an actual physical exfoliator that has our Dead Sea salt in it,
Mhm.
and instead just go with the konjac sponge, which will lightly flake away or remove the flakes off of the skin without it being too harsh. But it's important that you kind of get rid of that dead skin layer, so then that way we're revealing the new skin, but then we're nurturing and we're calming and we're protecting and strengthening that new skin by using butters, oils, or a single ingredient product. So
Yeah.
it's like a step by step, just like how internally is a step by step, but externally treating your skin is just as important and also a process too that a lot of people don't think about. They're just like put on the butter or put on the oil, everything is fine. But it's like
Yeah.
no, there's dead skin. We got to get some of that
Mhm.
off. Some of them we got to keep on, but you still want to kind of go through that process because then you'll start to see your new skin comes in and you don't get as much itching because there's not so much layers of dead skin
Yeah.
flaking.
Exactly. No,
Mm-hmm.
I've noticed that when I put on cream, when there is dry skin, like it tends to itch because it wants to come off. So now that
Exactly.
when it's coming off through that sea salt or whatnot, anytime I put creams and balms, it actually doesn't itch as much. And
Yes.
I did want to say that when I tried your Dead Sea Salt, the one with the jasmine petals, I
Yeah.
love that one. I love the smell, very calming.
Yeah.
And the surprise one was I don't know the name of it, but it had a witch hazel in the balm. And honestly, I've never tried witch hazel based balms or creams for my itching. And
Mm-hmm.
when I used yours, I was like, this is working. Like,
Yeah.
whoa, that's pretty cool. So I love that you brought up witch hazel as, one of the ingredients that's overlooked because it never came up on my journey when I was, researching things for itching. It was always like chamomile and tea tree oil and,
Yes,
this and that. But witch hazel was promoted more of like the toners for skincare. But
exactly.
in your balm, I applied it. I'm like, whoa, what is this magic?
Yeah, yeah. And it's so true. Witch hazel is very much overlooked. It's absolutely overlooked as an ingredient, and it's a very holistic herbal ingredient that a lot of people don't use unless you're a herbalist.
Yeah,
Tea tree is always known, but tea tree has a thing of being too strong for people. It's a very rich ingredient, and it can sometimes be too much, and that's why a lot of people have that like allergies to it. So we
yeah,
do have with tea tree in our Eversoothe collection, but it's very, very small amount because even when I was teaching, they would use like tea tree waxes and so forth, and the amount of students that would get allergic reactions to it because tea tree is a very rich product
yeah.
or ingredient, but because of the antiseptic and all those other benefits, people would use it, but not realizing it actually is too much for some people's skin. So when I once upon a time was playing around with witch hazel, I was like, I love this thing. How come no one uses it? And I just bought gallons of it and I just kept using it on my skin. I would use it in my hair. I would use it on my face. Like, it is such an amazing ingredient, but it is very much overlooked, which is okay. Don't worry about it, guys. Don't keep
Yeah, yeah.
overlooking it.
You got the secret sauce, so all good.
Yeah, exactly, exactly. Well, I'm so happy that you came on, Kishok. It was such a great conversation, and I'm happy that we got to touch on things that are not normally talked about when with eczema and what to do and protocols and nervous system and so forth. It was so enlightening because I learned, and I'm so happy that there's so many relatable things that we do and we've been through. So I'm happy, happy, happy that we had this conversation.
Again, thank you for having me. I'd love to come on again, continue to share the knowledge with the eczema warrior community, TSW warrior community, and, just connect with one another and, continue sharing information.
Yeah, I'm happy that you're part of our health experts, and that's why,
Yeah.
we're working more closely together. And when people want more information, if you need to, get in contact with Kishok, you can find him on our website under the health experts tab, and you can also reach him directly. It will be in the show notes. So I'm happy that we have you on board with us, and we're working together and working to help the eczema community because more people like us needs to help them in a way where it goes beyond just the basics of what we see that's in the industry.
Yeah. Yeah, definitely going beyond skin, holistically, mind and body. And, what better place to start with people who have gone through it?
Yeah.
One, yourself, Makisha, who have created products mindfully, intentionally for eczema people versus, all the crap that's in products.
Yes.
So, yeah,
Yeah.
I'm happy to collaborate all the time.
Absolutely, absolutely. So I'm going to do this with the closing tradition. I know you've already answered it, but I definitely want to still see if your answer has changed. What is self-care to you, and is there anything in particular that you use that helps you on your self-care?
Ooh, I honestly don't remember what I said last time, but it's insane. But self-care, what does it mean to me? I would say it's honestly just putting yourself first, taking care of yourself. Whether that's, in school and work and relationships, like with eczema, we've been taught to kind of hide ourselves, put ourselves second. Maybe it's the personality trait that all eczema people have, but I've noticed that we tend to not put ourselves first. And I
Yes.
think the healing journey is trying to force you for the betterment of yourself to put yourself first, to say no to things, to say yes to more like healing, more natural foods, more, thinking about yourself, your mind, and, how you want to stay calm and happy despite dealing with eczema. I think eczema is telling you that something needs to change, that you need to look at yourself first. So coming back to what does self-care mean is like, again, put yourself first, whether you want to try this class out, whether you need to say no to certain types of foods, say yes to more activities that bring you joy. I think it's really personalized and it's not this whole, the cliche industry of like,
Yeah.
go like candles and scents and,
So true.
all this, stuff. It's really how to make it personal to you and what brings you joy. I think that's what I'll summarize with.
Oh, I love that you said that. It's not the superficial things that people are
Yeah,
doing about self-care because it's just like, what the heck? Like, that's not my self-care. My self-care is going
exactly.
for a run or punching a box and whatever it is, but it's not the
Yeah.
cookie cutter, light a candle and go and sit in the
Yeah.
dark. I love it.
Yeah, and if it is like watching, binging a show, that's still self-care because it's
Yeah.
bringing you peace and calm. And if it is going for a run, that's amazing. But it's like finding what self-care is to and finding yourself, to be cliche, it's finding yourself on the eczema journey. It's like
Yes.
what's bringing what can you do to bring yourself back to you? Because with eczema, you can kind of lose yourself in trying
Yeah.
all these things. So it's like, hey, what can I do? And maybe it's changing your job. I don't know. Maybe it's trying a different course. That's
Yes.
also can be self-care because you want to channel that energy into yourself.
Oh, man, Kishok, you just ended that on a great note. Did you want to add in what you would use, or you're good with that? Because I love that
Let's leave it
answer.
at that.
I love that answer. I was like, amen. Jeez Louise. Let's just namaste and everything. Like, you just killed it with that.
Thank
Thank
you.
you so much, Kishok. I absolutely appreciate you being on here. It was such a pleasure to chat, and I can't wait for the next one.
I can't wait to share this episode with our audience. And again, thank you for having me. Appreciate it. And we'll do this again.
Thank you. Thank you. Well, everyone, thank you so much for tuning in to another episode of the Skin Deep podcast. Again, everything that we chat about with Kishok will be in the show notes if you want to get to know him and his services. And as always, if you're looking to try our products, we do have some trial sets where you're able to try our products for 30 days, especially if you're dealing with eczema, dermatitis, or any other skin condition. So we'll see you in the next episode. Thanks for tuning in to the Skin Deep podcast. Don't forget to download your free guide to our 10 hacks to great skin. Just check the link in our bio. I look forward to seeing you in our next episode. Have an amazing day, everyone, and enjoy your self-care Sunday.